The Lesson by Paul Laurence Dunbar, 1872 to 1906. My cot was down by a cypress grove, and I sat by my window the whole night long, and heard well up from the deep dark wood a mocking-bird's passionate song. And I thought of myself so sad and lone, and my life's cold winter that knew no spring, of my mind so weary and sick and wild, of my heart too sad to sing. But e'en as I listened to the mocking-bird's song, a thought stole into my saddened heart, and I said, I can cheer some other soul by a carol's simple art. For oft from the darkness of hearts and lives come songs that brim with joy and light, and out of the gloom of the cypress grove the mockingbird sings at night. So I sang a lay for a brother's ear, in a strain to soothe his bleeding heart, and he smiled at the sound of my voice and lyre, though mine was a feeble art. But at his smile I smiled in turn, and into my soul there came a ray. In trying to soothe another's woe, mine own had passed away. Okay, this is a poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar. He was born in Ohio. His parents were slaves before the American Civil War, and they were emancipated after the Civil War, and he's the part of the first generation of free African Americans. Let's see, Dunbar was a poet and novelist. He wrote short stories, and he established a good international reputation. Sadly, he got tuberculosis and died at the age of 33, so young. So, The Lesson by Paul Laurence Dunbar. What's this about? Well, it's a story about somebody who's got insomnia, somebody who can't sleep, and they're sitting all night looking out of the window. They're looking down at the cypress trees, and they hear a mockingbird singing, and they feel very sad and very depressed and very melancholy and very alone. And then suddenly to this person it occurs to them that the way to feel better is to sing a song, to relieve somebody else's sadness, because he remembers, or she remembers, that on previous occasions hearing other songs in the night, and he starts singing this song, and he imagines some other person who's sad and alone and with insomnia, sitting on their bed, and he imagines this person smiling at hearing his song, and this makes him feel better. So the answer to this is that to relieve your own melancholy, the best solution might be to relieve that of somebody else. If you can help somebody else, then your own sadness will feel much less. So my bed was down by a cypress grove, a grove of trees, a group of cypress trees. I sat by my window the whole night long. So I've been sitting here all night long, and I can't sleep. And heard well up from the deep dark wood a mockingbird's passionate song. So I heard, coming out of the deep dark wood, the sound of a mockingbird singing with passion. And I thought of myself so sad and lone, and my life's cold winter that knew no spring. And I felt very sad, and I felt very alone. And I thought about all the bad things that were happening, and nothing was getting better. I like this this metaphor of winter and spring. So winter is bad things happening one after another, and no spring means that it doesn't get better. Of my mind so weary and sick and wild, of my heart too sad to sing. So my mind was tired and I felt sick and I was just too sad to sing. But even as I listened to the mockingbird's song, a thought stole into my saddened heart. So a thought came to me while I'm listening to the mockingbird, and maybe the mockingbird has cheered him up a little bit. And I said, I can make happy some other soul, some other person, by a carol, simple art, by singing a song. So maybe if I sing a song, I can cheer somebody else up. For oft from the darkness of hearts and lives come songs that brim with joy and light. So often from the darkness here of hearts and lives, he's saying literally from the world. But here, the darkness of hearts and lives, I think this represents the world that we live in and the problems of the world for him. He's saying that often there's something that happens in the world, and there's somebody's song, somebody's idea, somebody's way of doing things. I think it's a metaphor for somebody's art or somebody's beauty comes out of the darkness, and in the same way it comes out of the gloom of the cypress grove the mockingbird sings at night. So in the same way that the song of the mockingbird appears from nowhere in the darkness, so in the world you can hear how the joy and light of another song about the benefit of spreading art and spreading music. Because I think here songs, art and music that come from other people. So I sang a lay for a brother's ear. A lay is a song. So I sang a song for a brother to hear, for another person to hear, in a strain, in a tone to soothe his bleeding heart, to make this person feel better. And he smiled at the sound of my voice and lyre, and this person smiled at what I was at my singing, even though mine was a feeble art, even though my singing wasn't very good. I wasn't very good at it. So he's saying that you don't have to be very good at it to communicate empathically to someone else. But at his smile I smiled in turn, and into my soul there came a ray. So thinking about this person smiling, it's like a ray of light, a ray of good came into my life. I forgot about my depression in trying to soothe another's woe, so trying to help another person. Mine own had passed away, so it changed how I was feeling, and now I was feeling better about this. My own depression had gone, so kindling joy in another person has kindled joy in him himself. So I think it's saying when you're feeling down, one of the good things to do is to try to help somebody else, because this in turn could help you. It's something that could warm your own heart, that could make you feel better. So, The Lesson by Laurence Dunbar.